Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Fulham Star says Arsenal have an amazing player he worries about whenever he faces Mikel Arteta's side. According to Pereira, Fulham go into games against Arsenal knowing that Bukayo Saka is the main threat and they try to stop him every time they face him. He said, I don't know, I like Saka a lot. He is an amazing player, but for me, Rodrigo can play in all of the positions and he is at one of the biggest clubs in the world right now. Pereira was asked, when you are playing against Arsenal, are there particular players you focus on? What would a team talk be to play against Saka? Pereira said, of course, when we play against Arsenal, we know that Saka is the main one. You can't give him space. He scores a lot of goals, and you have to cover the space around him because he can push the ball and just run past you. And if you go too close, he is strong as well, so he can turn you. Fulham clearly place extra importance on stopping Saka when they go into these games, and that worked a treat last time out. Yes, Saka scored at the back post to open the scoring in Arsenal's 2-1 defeat, but beyond that, Arsenal's talisman couldn't get anything going. Anthony Robinson dealt with Saka well, while Willian's defensive contributions shouldn't be forgotten either. Fulham seem to have the formula for stopping Arsenal at the moment, and perhaps that's down to their ability to handle Saka. Former Real Madrid man says Arsenal have one of the best midfielders in the world now. Many feels as if the Arsenal manager got it wrong against Aston Villa, failing to grasp control in midfield. And with that being said, the Spaniard could make one or two changes tonight, but fitness permitting, Martin Odegaard will definitely be in the side, a player who can become so crucial in North London. Of course, Martin Odegaard's career hasn't necessarily been a straightforward one to date, despite his young age at Strøm's Godest. In Norway back in 2015, Odegaard's name was known across Europe, a wonder kid with extremely high expectations, and although things have eventually worked out for Odegaard at Arsenal, it can so easily go the other way, as Sergio Canales explained in an interview with The Athletic. Also hotly talked about the prodigy at Real Madrid, Canales also left the club after failing to live up to the expectations, but now 33-year-olds and playing his football for Monterrey in Mexico, the midfielder was delighted to see Odegaard faring so well at Arsenal. He explained, I saw Odegaard at Real Sociedad. He was the difference maker, and I knew then that it was only a matter of time before he broke through. I believe he is now one of the best central midfielders in the world. I really like him. He is technical, but I really like his mentality and the personality he shows when he plays. Odegaard's rise at Arsenal has been nothing short of remarkable, especially considering how indifferent most fans felt towards the Norwegian after his initial loan spell. Many were instead calling for the Norwich City player Emiliano Buendia to be signed, a reminder to trust the process under Mikel Arteta. Michael Owen says Arsenal have a naive player who still has a lot to learn. Speaking on a Premier League productions, Michael Owen has been discussing Arsenal's striking issues and Gabriel Jesus, and he gave the Brazilian a damning review after the Villa match. Owen spoke about Jesus' performance against Aston Villa and his striking IQ. He said, that should have been a big chance if he gets onside and runs across, but he is offside. Yes, he is a fantastic player. I love watching him. I love his work rate, and he has a fantastic touch, but has a lot to learn about center forward play, particularly off the ball. It's interesting to hear Michael Owen, of all people, say this. The former England star was one of the all-time greats when it came to moving as a striker. He knew how to get into the right positions at speed, and he always moved with the ideas of scoring a goal in mind. However, Jesus isn't that type of striker. The Brazilian is much more focused on linking play, finding the right passes, and making decoy runs to open up space. It's another effective way to play, but the reality is that you want a center forward in your team who is going to be piercing defenses rather than just shuffling them around. Jesus can be a great weapon, but as Owen says, he has a lot to learn about playing as a center forward for a top club. At the age of 27 now, we have to wonder whether Jesus will ever develop these sorts of skills. Theo Walcott says 24-year-old Arsenal player has really shocked him this season. Speaking on Premier League productions, Theo Walcott has been discussing Arsenal's season and their attacking output, and he says that he's been surprised by one player this term. Walcott spoke about Arsenal's attack and Kai Havertz, claiming that the German has surprised a lot of people, himself included. He said, I think they need to get back to what they have been doing best, outscoring teams. They have left off of not having a proper number 9. I think Havertz has definitely surprised a lot of people, me being one, but if you look at their goal tally right now, they are playing in a style without a recognized center forward. Walcott isn't the only one who is shocked by Havertz's form as of late. The German has put together his best run of form since arriving in England over the past 3 months or so, and he is shown that he does have the ability to be a difference maker at the top level. Of course, now the challenge is for Havertz to sustain this form over a longer period of time. As good as Havertz has been in recent months, the reality is that for 80% of his time in England so far has been underwhelming, so he needs to make sure that this isn't just a purple patch and is indeed a turning point in his career, and this upwards trajectory is sustainable going forwards. Arsenal still believes in Arsenal Star. Change in position could be an option, says expert. Speaking exclusively to Count Offside for his latest daily briefing column, Watts stated that Zinchenko is still someone who could have something to offer for the Gunners. He said, some of the criticism of Zinchenko is justified, but some is a bit harsh in my opinion. When you look at what went wrong for Arsenal on Sunday, for example, I'm not really sure Zinchenko was at the heart of it, but judging by the amount of criticism that has come his way over the past few days, you would think he was. Yes, there were a few errors of judgment in the second half, one of which could easily have been very costly, but there were also good points in the first half, which could easily have led to Arsenal opening the scoring, and that's always been the thing with Zinchenko. There are undeniable positives, but there are also obvious negatives. The thing is that right now, probably for the first time since he joined, the negatives are starting to outweigh the positives. Arsenal's side has evolved at pace under Arteta. Last season, Zinchenko was an essential part of it, but now his place in the starting 11 is up for debate. I wouldn't say we are definitely approaching the end of Zinchenko's time at Arsenal. I still think he could have a key role to play in this squad, potentially even higher up the pitch, where his defensive flow could leave the team less exposed. He is a quality footballer who is having a difficult period, but Arteta believes in him, and it's far too early to write him off as an Arsenal player. Arsenal are watching incredible £42 million striker very closely, even though he doesn't want to leave. Arsenal are reportedly continuing to monitor a striker who has already admitted he doesn't want to leave this club this summer. Arsenal were unable to dip into the market in January despite strong links to Brentford's Ivan Toney. The speculation surrounding a move for Toney certainly hasn't died completely down, but Arteta's side are weighing up their options ahead of the summer. According to Sports Lens, Arsenal are tracking Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee, but they also remain keen on Benjamin Sesko. The Gunners have scouted the RB Leipzig striker on several occasions, and he is expected to cost around £42 million this summer. Arsenal are monitoring his situation closely as Arteta bids to bolster his front line. The 22-year-old has enjoyed an exceptional start to his career and completed a switch to Leipzig from Salzburg last summer. In his debut season in the Bundesliga, he's netted 9 times and provided 2 assists in 26 league appearances. His incredible potential has even earned him comparisons to Manchester City star Erling Haaland. Speaking to the Bundesliga's official website back in May last year, the Slovenian striker commented on being likened to the Norwegian star. He said, "Such comparisons motivate me and give me energy. They do not represent pressure. I will listen and learn so I can be even better than he is. My teammates at the club tell me that Haaland and I are very similar, especially in terms of speed. Most of them even tell me that I'm better than him." Whether or not Arsenal firm up their interest in Sesko remains to be seen, but the youngster recently admitted his desire to stay at Leipzig for many years. He said, "I want to spend a lot of time here at Leipzig because the club suits me well. We'll see how many years it will be in total." Arsenal are becoming more and more likely to make a move for £60 million player. Arsenal and Tottenham will both be in the market for a new centre forward this summer. Santiago Jimenez is a player who has been linked with a move to Tottenham for a long time now. The Mexican is ripping it up in the Eredivisie for PSV, and Spurs have long been admirers, reportedly even holding talks with the striker. However, Arsenal have now caught wind of Jimenez's potential, and according to Rudy Galati, the Eredivisie striker is moving up Arsenal's shortlist heading into the summer. It sounds as though Arsenal and Tottenham will be going head-to-head in the battle for the £60 million man, and that would leave Jimenez in an interesting position. The striker will have a big decision to make this summer if he is presented with these two options, and both options are solid. On one hand, Arsenal are further along in their development and are more likely to win major honours next season, but at the same time, Postecoglou is building something very exciting at the moment, and his team would be a lot of fun to play in as a centre forward. If Jimenez wants to win trophies, perhaps he should join Arsenal, but if he wants to develop as a player and make a name for himself as a goal scorer in the Premier League, perhaps he should have to join our rival Tottenham. Man United want to watch for forward transfer. Arsenal and Chelsea now considered unlikely. Manchester United could be a team to watch in the race for the transfer of Brentford striker Ivan Toney this summer, according to journalist Ben Jacobs. The England international is approaching the final year of his Brentford contract, which could mean he will attract plenty of interest this summer. But for the moment, Jacob seems to think Arsenal and Chelsea are unlikely to revisit this potential deal. Speaking exclusively to Cout Offside for his latest daily briefing column, Jacobs explained that Man United could potentially be a name to keep an eye on with Tony, but only if his asking price drops, though it remains possible that the 28-year-old could also run his contract down and leave on a free in summer 2025. One imagines Brentford will not allow Tony to leave for anything like the £30–40 million that has been mentioned in the media, with Jacobs expecting it to be higher than that, which might potentially put bidders off coming in for a player of his age who is just a year away from being a free agent. United are little light up front at the moment, so could Tony be an ideal option for them? It seems Jacobs expect there could be interest if the money is right. He said, "Tony is still keeping his options open. I don't think he will join either Arsenal or Chelsea. Both have other options higher on their list of possibilities, at least for this summer. Manchester United could still be one to watch, especially if the asking price drops. I'm not aware of Brentford being willing to accept £30–40 million, despite some reports. I still expect the price to be much higher." He added, "It will be very surprising if Tony is sold for a bargain fee, and if he's picked for Euro 2024, then his summer value and the number of suitors considering him will only rise further." As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.